pretty in the sky, also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking and singing, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I hear babies cry and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I wish upon a star, wake up with the bugs I far behind. Me, where trouble melts like a lemon drop, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. The dream that you did too. Why, oh why can't
I want to thank you on behalf of the family for coming to show your love and support. This morning, we are coming to mourn and to honor the name and the life of Melanie Sturm, Isha miuchedet b'mina, a woman unique in her kind, special in her generation. Feisty, generous, beautiful, highly intelligent, complex, caring, and so much more. There is no earthly way to share a life of over 80 years inside of a few minutes, but we will try, and in a few moments you will hear the many facets of Mickey's life. Today we will remember Mickey and do as our tradition asks of us, the mitzvah of halvayat hamet, to honor her and to accompany her to her final resting place. We are blessed to be able to take comfort from our tradition, from the beauty and depth of our liturgists, the voices of our poems, our psalmists, and our sages. And the child asked, "Tell me of life." And the sage answered, "Life, my child, is a mystery. We do not ask to be born, nor do we even understand the meaning of birth, of creation. We grow and we experience life's pleasures and pains. We love, and slowly, oh so slowly, we come to realize that we have become, that we are. At that moment, we humble ourselves before the mystery of life and quietly say, though I knew not, I have been granted the most precious gift of all, the gift of life. And the child asked, "Tell me of death." And the sage answered, "Death, my child, is a mystery. It is the inevitable return of the gift of life, the gift which came free to us. We live as the trustee of that mysterious being, of that unexplainable becoming. Yes, you and I are but the trustees of life. We nurture it, we delight in it, we give it of others. And at the appointed time, we sadly, yet with pride, return it from whence it came. The beauty, my child, is that what we are What we have become remains long after the gift has been returned. It remains as a precious keepsake with our loved ones who live on. For centuries, the book of Ecclesiastes has been read and studied. The mature writings of one in the fall of his life reminds us elegantly, gently, and honestly. L'kol zman v'l'kol chefetz tachat hashamayim. For everything there is a season and a time for every experience under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot what is planted. A time to tear down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to grieve and a time to dance. A time to throw stones and a time to gather stones. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to seek and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to discard. A time to tear and a time to sow. A time to keep silent and a time to speak. Now is the time to speak about Mickey, to hear about her from those who truly knew her and loved her. Her son, Bob Sturm, her grandson, Zane Zachary, and his father, Marc Zachary, her friend, Irene, and her daughter, Melanie Sturm.
I'm so sad. I loved her for the wonderful woman she was and the thoughtfulness she showed to so many. Thank you for notifying me. I will forever remember her mom trying on beautiful clothes and then coming down her staircase. I would have scooped my jaw off the floor. She was a beauty, and I will long remember her for the sense of style and great personality. Blessings, Melanie. So sorry for your loss. She was one of the funniest people and the best storyteller. Sorry to hear about your mom. I have found memories of her and my mom shaking up the world in Omaha. Batman and Robin, and nothing on Omaha's dynamic duo. May you all have a long life. Your mother has left a beautiful legacy, one she inherited and worked to protect and burnish. Her greatest gift is that her legacy is now secure in her children and Zane, whose turn it is to live a life as memorable as her mom's. What lasting memories her mom created and gifted to so many people. She was a special lady and a blessing. So sorry to hear about Mickey. I have fond memories of her mom growing up, especially her infectious laugh. May her memory be a abiding blessing. What a beautiful and strong woman Mickey was, not deserving love. What a loss. My heart breaks for you. I'm profoundly honored to have met Mickey, an unforgettable woman of elegance and substance. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so glad you had a wonderful mother, and it shows in you. What a loving and wonderful woman. Clearly she was a beacon of light to all who knew her, and now heaven is even brighter. Our prayers are with her family. Melanie, so many of her amazing qualities live through you, sending love, prayers, and condolences to you and her family. Your mom was beautiful inside and out.
When I'm Gone by Lyman Hancock. When I come to the end of my journey and I travel my last weary mile, just forget, if you can, that I ever frowned, and remember only the smile.
Forget unkind words I have spoken. Remember Forget that I've stumbled and blundered, and sometimes fell by the way. Remember, I have fought some hard battles, and won ere the close of the day.
Then forget to grieve for my going. I would not have you sad for a day. But in the summer, just gather some flowers and remember the place where I lay. And come to the shade of the evening, when the sun paints the sky in the west. Stand for a few moments beside me, and remember only my best.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I met Mickey 20 years ago, and we became very good friends. We had our ups and downs, but more of them were ups, not downs. She used to come home from her bridge club and mahjong and tell me, she'd call me and say, I have to tell you this joke, and we'd have a good laugh. Mickey has touched many hearts throughout her life. I love you, Mickey. Rest in peace.
June 2016 will forever live on in my mind for the number of intensely emotional, circle of life moments that converged. Our son Zane's inspiring and unforgettable bar mitzvah trip to Israel last month, where my mom's spirit was ever present, a healthcare scare for me, and of course my mom's losing battle with cancer. I don't recommend this emotional brew. It makes you feel like you're driving on a highway while intoxicated. At Zane's bar mitzvah 2 weeks ago, I cut the emotion, enabling better fluency by taking a page from my mom's book, Irene referenced. I told a joke. So I'm going to tell you the same joke now. A young Jewish man excitedly tells his mother that he's fallen in love and wants to get married. To challenge his mom, he says, "Just for the fun of it, Mom, I'm going to bring my girlfriend over with 2 of her girlfriends, and I want you to try to guess which one I want to marry." And the mother agrees. The next day, he brings the 3 women home and sits them all on a couch, and they chat for a while. Then he says, "Okay, Mom, can you guess which one I'm going to marry?" And immediately she replies, "The one on the right." "That's amazing, Mom. You're right. How did you know?" The Jewish mom replies, "I don't like her." I can breathe now, as I did then. See how wise my mom was. In concluding my remarks to my son Zane at his bar mitzvah, I closed with a prayer, mindful that my hopes for him mirror those my mom had for me. Here is the prayer. May you remember the rich Jewish past you have inherited and be ever mindful of the bright Jewish future that must be secured and enriched. And may the memories of cherished loved ones, which guide your actions, inspire you to live a life worthy of remembrance. And then I said, in closing, I promise you, Zane, that if you live your life this way, you'll choose a wife that will not only be a blessing to you, but will be someone I'm destined to love, and that will be a blessing. I said that with confidence. After all, it's true that the values and ideals my mom passed on to me account for the blessing of my husband, Zach, who my mom adored. "Zach is such a kind person and a genius," she repeatedly observed, as she did recently after he figured out how to collapse the handle of a suitcase. There was no talent too small that my mom couldn't identify, appreciate, and champion. If she liked you, you knew it. And there's nothing more gratifying than bathing in the warm glow of my mom's appreciation, as many in this room know. One of my earliest memories as a preschooler is of my mom, ever the elementary school teacher, getting under the covers with me to role play in a game of sort of gossipy neighbors, I'll call it. I was Mrs. Brown, and she, Mrs. Smith, would appear at my door looking to borrow a cup of sugar and to stimulate my imagination by getting me to talk, and she would stimulate my imagination by getting me to talk about my imaginary family and life, which mirrored our real family. In a letter to her mother discovered recently, she wrote how amused she was that I would talk about how my imaginary daughter was so well behaved, she deserved lots of candy and toys. Most amazing and inspirational, though, to my young mind was when my mom would take my imaginary cursive writing and pretend to read what I had written, as if it were English and not chicken scratch. I'd say, "I wrote that?" And she'd say unwittingly to her budding writer, "Yes, you did. You're a wonderful writer," turbocharging my self-confidence. Our early years weren't easy, and I know how much my mom sacrificed, yet she still made a nice home environment. I recall a cleaning lady asking if it was against our religion to have furniture in the living room. We sacrificed and didn't have furniture. As I wrote in my column about her that you have, and I encourage you to read, I wrote it shortly after her diagnosis, I realized how the arc of my life has been shaped and guided by my mom's repeated encouragement. You can do anything you want and overcome any obstacle. A confidence that sustained me, especially through life's trials. Her maternal cocoon was particularly good at safeguarding me when I was hurting. It nourished me as I struggled with my youth's biggest challenge, the ugly back brace I wore for scoliosis, and more recently, my own clash with cancer. Hearing her say, "You're gonna be just fine, I promise," would calm my butterflies, whatever their cause. Recently, her constant prodding encouraged me to run in an election that, to my surprise and her delight, I won. The best part was getting washed in her praise when I called her with the results. It was her own confidence and pluck that thrust her into so many encounters with influential people determined to make her impact on the world. Nebraska Governor Bob Kerrey and Warren Buffett didn't know what hit them when my mom endeavored to change their minds, convincing them both to participate in the trailblazing Omaha fundraiser she chaired in 1986 for the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum, an event that succeeded beyond wild-eyed dreams, creating a template for other communities across the country. She understood that as a Jew, we're put on earth for a reason, carrying greater responsibilities and challenges to meet a higher standard. She knew that the loss of one human being is the loss of an entire world, and she worked so that it would never happen again. To her great credit, she used her voice and her organizational abilities and her resources to achieve this noble goal. I know how justifiably proud my mom was that this globally important museum now publicly recognizes her tireless efforts on behalf of sustaining the memory of those who perished in the Holocaust. She earned her way into the who's who of American women, an honor and distinction, and a great source of pride for her. Through her communal work, she became acquainted with Elie Wiesel, for whom she had the greatest admiration, or perhaps second to Frank Sinatra, and you'll discover why at the close of this service. In noting Elie Wiesel's passing yesterday, I thought how pleased my mom must be that the two of them are making their debut in the next world on the eve of the 4th of July, which celebrates the nation that, along with Israel, is one of the greatest blessings the Jewish people have ever known. About my mother, it was frequently said, "If you want something done, ask Nikki." That's because, as the Omaha Jewish Press noted in the framed article at the door, she reached for perfection, and she succeeded. When my mom got done with a project or a job title, people would clamor to replace her so that they could assume the now glamorous role and title. The best example is how she supercharged the women's campaign for United Jewish Appeal in Omaha. Following her usual template, she picked someone reliable to partner with. She had an understandable frustration with people who'd say, "Let's do this big idea and you be let's," as she would put it. With her co-chair, she hatched the brilliant idea to bring Holocaust survivor Gerda Klein to Omaha to unfurl her incredible story at a series of teas, melting the women's generous hearts and that of her impressionable adolescent child. This morning, I awoke to an email from a friend and former colleague someone with whom I worked to realize a big project. Her words encapsulate this profoundly important moment in my own life journey. She wrote, "You were a wonderful daughter to your mother, and I know that your drive, many of your interests, and certainly your desire to improve the world around you comes from her. Only time will ease the awful, terrible sadness, but I hope you will find comfort knowing that so much of your mom continues in you." It's true that the things that you have in life, you can't take with you after you die. But the people who die, you can take with you while you're living and learning and growing. There are so many lucky people and vital organizations that my mom has touched who gratefully carry her generous spirit in their hearts. Over the last year since her diagnosis and amid the whiplashing emotions springing from a bar mitzvah trip to Israel and my mom's deteriorating condition, I've been mindful of the dwindling time I had to savor, support, and celebrate my irrepressible, commanding, tough as nails in the face of cancer, though vulnerable, mom. I got to do so many things that have left indelible footprints on my heart. Thank, love, share with her friends jokes and her pastimes, bridge and mahjong, write the column about her last fall, disagree about Donald Trump, apologize, forgive, and yes, be her champion. I know my fiercely independent mom grew tired of my telling her to eat and drink a little more and to take her medicine as she clung to life and hope. In turn, she, with the support of her remarkable stable of caregivers and doctors, gave us the emotional peace of mind to journey to Israel for our remarkable trip last month, one that helped assure that the legacy she inherited and spent a lifetime protecting and burnishing is secure in her progeny. I told Zane, whom my mom adored even beyond Frank Sinatra, that the question and test of his life is not how good he'll be so he gets stuff, but possessing so much stuff, how good will he be? Now that he's a bar mitzvah, what will he do with the gift of his life and all his blessings, including Grandma Mickey's heritage and legacy? I thank God for entrusting my mom's soul to her and am grateful that she used it to move through the world with seriousness, purpose, generosity, kindness, and love. She understood the ultimate question of life is not how great you think you are, but how great you think your purpose is. And she taught others how to stand out for noble reasons by standing out so nobly herself, and to always try to retain a sense of humor about life. That she continuously shaped and grew and polished her own champion soul, relinquishing it now in all its beauty, is testimony, not to a perfect life, for there are no such things, but a life well lived. Know, Mom, that our cherished memories of you not only guide our actions, but inspire us to live lives worthy of remembrance. So thank you, God. Your gift was so well given. Thank you.
There is no more beautiful way to honor a mother, grandmother, mother-in-law, and friend than what you just did today. And we, as a community, are grateful. Mickey loved our tradition, and she gave generously to perpetuate the Jewish community. It's fitting in her honor, on the front of your white cards is the 23rd Psalm. Beautiful and beloved in all traditions that we recite together now. A song of David, eternal God, you are my shepherd, I shall not want. You make me lie down in green pastures, you lead me beside still waters. You restore my soul. You guide me in paths of righteousness for the sake of your name. Even when I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. With rod and staff you comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of God forever. My last visit with Mickey was a mix. I was sad to see that she was so ill. On the other hand, she wanted to tell me that she wasn't. She said, you know, over there, meaning over here at the synagogue, where we were all so concerned, they think that I'm dying. I'm here to tell you that I'm not. And I didn't argue with her. Till the last minute, she fought and she lived. Her generosity, even in the face of illness and death, and her sweetheart, she said to me, she looked at me and she said, you know, I gotta find you somebody. And I said, well, what do you mean? She said, you're Bashert, you need your Bashert. And I said, okay, Mickey, you're on it. So I'm here to tell you, Mickey, if you are hearing me in the Olam Haba, in the heavens above, go ahead. She had one of her greatest joys last Rosh Hashanah, where she and her grandson and her daughter came to the Bima for an aliyah. And the beaming joy that she had, she was so thrilled. And she said, you know this is my grandson. And I said, I actually do know that. And she said, you can't imagine who he is. And I just smiled because Zane, you were her light, and we are all grateful for that moment and for her joy that you were part of her life. As we remember Mickey, her strength, her generosity, her kindness, her feistiness, we remember also the journey of life and her particular journey. Birth, it says, is a beginning and death a destination, but life is a journey going, growing, from stage to stage, from childhood to maturity, and youth to age, from innocence to awareness and ignorance to knowing, from foolishness to discretion, and then perhaps to wisdom, from weakness to strength or strength to weakness and often back again, from health to sickness and back, we always pray to health, from offense to forgiveness and loneliness to love, from joy to gratitude and pain to compassion, from grief to understanding, from fear to faith, from defeat to defeat to defeat, until looking backward or ahead, we see that victory lies not at some high place along the way, but in having made that journey, stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, but life, Mickey's life, was an amazing journey, a sacred pilgrimage, made stage by stage, from birth to death to life everlasting. Zichrona livracha, may her memory always be for a blessing. In a few moments, our service here will end, and those who are going to the interment, you can follow us to El Camino Memorial Cemetery, and then you are invited to return here or stay here as you wish to Beth Israel in our social hall just across the courtyard after the interment for a meal of consolation. If you wish to make donations in keeping with Mickey's generous nature, there will be a list, a very long list, that the family will make sure that we all have. But if you're thinking about it for the moment, Beth Israel here, the Jewish Community Center, the JCC, the Old Globe, the Ryford Center, MD Anderson, and we will ask Dr. Sabina Wallach what one of her charities is for cancer research. So that she did such an amazing and beautiful job in helping Mickey. There will be Shiva Minyanim at 939 Coast Boulevard. The family will be sitting Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. and prayers will be at 7 p.m. If you're able, please rise for the El Malem Rachamim, which prays for Mickey's soul. You may find it in the middle of your cards.
עם קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים את נשמת מיקי שהלכה לעולמה בגן עדן תהי מנוחתה ותנוח בשלום על משכבה ונאמר
God filled with mercy, who dwells on high, bring proper rest beneath the wings of your presence, amid the ranks of the holy and pure, to Mickey Sturm, who has entered eternity. The Garden of Eden will be her resting place. May you, who are the source of mercy, shelter her beneath your wings eternally, and bind her soul in the bond of everlasting life. Eternal God, you are her inheritance. May she rest in peace. And together we say, Amen. Please be seated.
redemption